Everybody could take a seat so we can start with the second group. Okay. In the second group, if you look at your program, we're going to switch the first two presentations. We're going to start with Rana Elafify, who worked on mentorship programs, a comparative study on mentoring novice teachers, and as you will hear from Rana, it's one of the most important things in education that we give adequate support to new teachers, as she will show you, and the state of that support worldwide and in Egypt.
Programs. It was a comparative study on mentoring novice teachers. My research question. As we all know, that mentorship can have a direct impact on sustaining and developing novice teachers in their early careers. But we need to know the main strengths and challenges in certain national programs to be able to come up with our analysis, to see how we can put all this together to help serve our students' learning outcome. And the methodology was a desk study. All right. Through my research, the challenges that we came across were the teachers' retention, teachers' turnover, teachers' training, professional development, early career support, and students. And that we're going to see through analyzing and the challenges that some of the countries came across. And the most important was an adequate mentoring programs framework. All right, the countries that I have used were the United Arab Emirates, Estonia, Kenya, and China. Previously, I have worked on a paper that it was about a mentorship program in one of the Egyptian schools. And it came up, it has the same challenges as the ones we're going to experience here. So I started to think, why not compare other countries to be able to make us feel that we're not alone. The challenges that were found in the different countries have come up with the same challenge. There are the same challenges as the ones that were found in my previous study. So the United Arab Emirates, the mentoring program challenges and the constraints that hindered the implementation process were there were no formal mentoring programs framework that would help the teacher through their training. The cultural background, the natural job that women are usually they're put into teaching because of the culture constraint of the United Arab Emirates, and also the wealthy students. That was a major concern to many of the teachers, that the wealthy students showed no interest whatsoever in education because they depend solely on their parents' wealth, and they know no matter what they'll graduate and they have a family plan for them. Lack of mentor selection criteria, which the mentor was selected from their areas of experience and the years of teaching, so there weren't enough criteria, not enough skills that the mentor need to acquire to be able to be a proper mentor. A lack of mentors training, that was also witnessed. The mentor had no training on the interpersonal skills or the intrapersonal skills that should be displayed in the mentor's training to the mentee. Now, the lack of the mentee's professional development, they did not undergo any professional development. They were they solely depend on the pre-service training that they have received in their uni. And lack of mentors availability, and that was the major problem that many of the mentees have mentioned throughout the study, that they solely depend on the trial error technique. So you go fetch for the information, and if the mentor is available, then they can ask and they can approach. and lack of evaluation methods to the programs. The only mean of evaluating a teacher's mentoring programs or outcome was the student's grade. So if the student's grades were good, then the teacher has proven that he has received a good mentoring program. If the grades were bad, then the teacher needs more support and help. And lack of consistency and supervision. So in the beginning, all right, we're having a mentoring program, and then the teacher is provided with a mentee, and then throughout the mentoring phase, it just fades out and no supervision whatsoever. Now, Estonia, mainly the countries have common challenges. The teacher shortage due to the long wait. They have to wait, they receive pedagogy training in their last year in their bachelor degree, and then later on, if they are going to be subject teachers, they are given, they have to pursue their master's degree. So that basically gives them a long time, and that's why there aren't enough teachers in the profession. Lack of mentors training is also evident. Lack of mentors availability, and lack of reflective and constructive feedback. Many of the teachers felt they were not given enough feedback on their performance. And socialization, that's due to the mentors' availability. They're not there most of the time. They felt that they were isolated and they were kept in their own bubble for the longest time. Mentors, and this was really interesting. Mentor therapeutic versus the apprenticeship approach. So that was mentioned as the moral support. They were given, all right, you're doing a great job. You're doing perfectly fine. But they weren't giving apprenticeship, which is the how. They do not show them how to do things. So it was basically, go ahead and do this. They do that, you're doing a great job. But they weren't actually demonstrating any kind of support. Lack of program evaluation. It was evaluating the teacher's progress in the first year was through classroom observations. Kenya was the third country. Secondary grades, teachers' college. Students in their secondary schools, they have to score certain grades to be able to join university. The least school that would accept students with low grades was the teachers' college. So mainly, if they don't study well, they're enrolled into teachers' college, and that's why many of them just seek it for the sake of education, not because they're interested in the actual profession. No formal mentoring program framework was set for the educational system in Kenya. Lack of mentor selection criteria. It was the teachers who provided the mentoring program were expert teachers and head of department. Lack of mentors training. Also the teacher, they're very good with their areas of knowledge, like subject content, but they were not aware of the professional skills that they need to acquire to be able to help a novice teacher. Lack of mentors professional development, and lack of mentors availability was another constraint. And the support was informal and ad hoc. It was upon request by the mentee. And socialization was another issue. And lack of evaluation was also through the students' grades. China. A minimum research on mentorship in the education system of China. Self-centered and centralized system, so basically everything was very set from the very beginning. So teachers were not allowed to come up with any kind of ideas because it's the culture of the schools, the culture of the school mainly. Lack of mentor selection also as expert teachers. The mentors were selected upon their areas of experience. Lack of mentors training, lack of mentees professional development, and it was very evident the competitive versus the supportive relationship. There was always a competition between teachers, so it was basically they tried to put each other down just for the sake that they prove that they're doing a better job. Lack of evaluation method to the program. It was also through the students' grades. The culture constraint, that was a major issue because novice teachers, when they join the school, their mentor usually older in age, and that made it a huge problem for the mentees who were less in age to ask the elderly about any question that they have. The power balance. the fear that the mentor would, the mentee would have more experience, knowledge, so they would take over and prove themselves over the mentor. And the knowledge transmission was another issue. They wouldn't give them all the details, they just give them basic information on what they need to know to be able to go through their training phase. Here are the common challenges that were analyzed with Egypt coming up with the 4 countries that we have mentioned. The culture constraint was an issue, lack of mentoring programs frameworks, lack of mentor selection standards, and lack of mentor-mentee professional development, lack of evaluation methods to programs, and lack of monitoring and consistency of the program, and lack of mentor-to-word program. All the countries have addressed many of the challenges, but it was still not evident. And most of them was the lack of the mentor-to-word program. It wasn't evident at all. Now, a situational mentorship framework. This selected framework was selected to help. It addresses all the deficiencies that were witnessed in the countries, and to help them come up with a formal framework that helps the teachers in their training phase. First thing in the framework, it addresses the mentor selection. How is the mentor selected? On which category and which criteria? A mentor and novice teacher's preparation. How to prepare the mentor and the novice in their preparation period to be able to help them go through the mentoring program. The support team and the accountability of the program. Now, mentor selection, who can apply? There's a committee of principals, educators, and district officials. They select teachers who are seen experts by their peers, and they can analyze their own teaching. They're reflective teachers and handle many job responsibilities. They're decision makers and provided with job description. So right at the very minute of the mentoring program, they're able to know their tasks and their responsibilities towards their mentee or the mentoring and the mentoring program as a whole. Mentor selection. How is the mentor and the mentee choose one another? The SMF helps the mentee select his or her mentor to come across the part with the culture point where they don't have common grounds or they have conflict in certain teaching strategies and so on. This helps them. The casual meeting, there's first a set casual meeting where they sit and socialize. It's all about getting to know one another, getting to know they exchange information and ideas. And then it's based on mutual interest, comfort, respect, mutual personal styles. And they set up a mentoring, once they're selected, they set up a mentoring timeline to see, you're going to be provided with mentoring for 1 year, 2 years, and that is based on the novice teacher's professional background. The freedom of terminating the mentorship. This is really important. The SMF gives the mentee the privilege, I wouldn't say the privilege, but it gives them the option that they can, if they're not doing very well, they feel that their mentor is not of any help, they can go back to the committee and ask that you terminate the mentoring program and choose another mentor. Mentor-mentee professional development. This is very important also because the SMF provides certain criteria and a certain professional development the mentor and the mentee need to undergo before starting the mentoring program. They get to learn about the stages of teacher's development, adult learning principles, professional development assessment, and interpersonal skills. Relevant knowledge and skills, and these are all the skills that they need to acquire to be able to help the students in the classroom. The stages of teacher's development. This was addressed because the novice teachers, they need to be able to know where they stand and the stages that they need to accomplish in order to become an expert teacher, and then that's when it's decided to go on with the mentoring or to terminate it. Adult learning principles, which are very important for both the mentor and the mentee. It provides educational opportunities. They learn about how to be self-directed teachers within the school. It provides problem-centered solutions, provides experiential learning for both the mentor and the mentee, and the role-related and self-reflection, which were witnessed in many of the countries that weren't evident, any of the mentioned. All right, the professional development assessment, which was not also evident in any of the countries that we have seen, were the participants' reactions toward the program, the participants' learning process, how is the mentee and the mentor developing through the mentoring program, or are they adding any new information? Organizational support and change, are they adding any new information or any teaching strategies, for an example, to the school as a whole? Participants' use of new knowledge and skills, and the students' learning outcome. Also, the classroom observations and the students' grade is evident here, but prior to that, it addresses all the skills that each teacher needs to acquire. And the assessment methods are through portfolios, formative and summative assessment, self-assessment, and information exchange. The interpersonal skills the mentor and the mentee need to display prior to starting the mentoring programs are active listening, problem solving, assistance, communication skills, and formulating constructive feedback, which, for example, Estonia lacked the constructive feedback. Relevant knowledge, and this is student related, developing thinking critically skills, promoting interpersonal skills, providing conflict resolution, the use of technology, using various methods of assessment like differentiation and diversity in the classroom, and practicing inquiry learning. And here would help a lot the United Arab Emirates, because the wealthy students that sat around and showed no interest, it looks like the teacher was using traditional methods of teaching when practicing inquiry learning, and that's what the SMF provides to the mentor, to the mentee. It helps the teacher come up with I would say, cooperative learning and teaching strategies to help these students engage more in the classroom. The SMF support team, here are the members of the support team, the mentors, the school district officials, and the school leaders. It's a committee, or I would say like a support team, where they meet through meetings, where they sit together and they talk about the updates of the mentoring programs, research ideas, and so on. Their communication and duties are face-to-face meeting, mentoring, which really was really interesting to see that they have a group email and chat rooms. So if the mentor is unavailable for any kind of reason, the mentee is able to get access to the help they need. And they provide instant support to the mentor and the mentee, and they reduce conflict. So if any problem occurs between the mentor and the mentee, they tend to interfere to be able to sort things out. They share mentoring responsibility, so if the principal is really good in classroom management, then the part with the classroom management training, the principal would take over. If another teacher from the committee is responsible with teaching strategy, the profession and teaching strategy, they take over and they can help out in the mentoring program. They're available because if the mentor has a class or they got administrative duties, they're able to walk in the room and ask to be assisted by any of the members in the room. Sense of high priority, because it consists of the district and the school officials. It gives a sense of high priority to all the members in the institution. They exchange research information, and it helps in interinstitutional collaboration between members. The accountability of the program. I'd say the mentor and the mentee schedule meetings and observation. The reflect and self-assessment that takes place after the mentoring program. The peer assessment, where the mentor can observe the mentee, and then they write down all their observations, and then the mentee has the right to do that also, to observe their mentee and provide their feedback. Reflective teaching, and that also helps in establishing future professional development. Once they pass through the first 4 phases, then the school principal or the district officials will be able to come up with the deficiencies they found through the mentoring program and set up future professional development for both. Limitation of the SMF. Mentors Incentive and Reward Program. This was very important. The mentors, they're selected because of their teaching experience, because of their communication skills, and all the skills that we have mentioned earlier. The incentive program wasn't really addressed in the SMF or any of the mentoring programs in the country. So it's basically about their name would be known as a mentor in the school, so they're not getting any kind of privilege whatsoever. They're not provided with any kind of incentive throughout the mentoring program. The recommendation. I think that putting up a questionnaire to indicate the mentor-mentee expectation of the outcome of the mentoring program, it's basically to help the school officials to know what the mentor expects out after the termination or the ending of the program, and what the mentee would expect during the program and after. It could be through skills, it could be through practice. Self-assessment prior to the professional development stage, it helps to put up the professional development. So I can have a novice teacher on campus that they're doing very well with classroom management, but they need extra help in classroom practice. So they're given a chance to indicate that and show that. So when we're putting up the professional development for the newcomer or the novice teachers, we as a school would be able to understand this teacher would need more help on that, while on the other hand, she can just get basic training or basic help. Thank you. Do you have any questions?